I'm coming from the visual art to walking, and so I mainly have in my practice the sleep, walking, talking, and dancing. That's also why I thought I'm adding some music to my
presentation.
Yeah. So I think there wasn't enough talking about dancing during the time I'm here already. So that could be also, I see dancing also as a form of walking, you know, but a very cultural way somehow. And I'm not going to dance for you, but I mean, if someone would join me somehow with this music, it's not. You join me? No, it's good. But it's good to have some music. Yeah, you can take care of it. And yeah, the story with walking somehow starts in the 90s, in a time when relational practice became kind of an important term in the arts. And I started with a project that called, it's okay, it's too loud, you hear me?
It's good.
Yes. Yeah, it's, during 1 month, I took notes. I had like a sign here on my belly, and when I was standing, I took notes, and when I was sitting, and then when I was lying down. And with that, I created called ZPR-Tafel, time, position, and rhythm table, and I sold these tables to people who were interested to repeat my structure somehow of daily routines. And at the time I also worked in the night shift and in a psychiatric hospital, so I also had interesting shifts in my daily rhythms that were documented through that. And there was one person buying one of these timetables. You can guess who was it?
Your mother?
Your mother, yeah. You earn a drink later on, yes. Yeah, you can, yeah. So it was my mother buying it, and it's also in a relational sense, yeah. Who is interested in repeating my daily structures somehow? It was very, and I thought, yeah, it's at least my mother did it, and conceptually I was happy with it, that I'm offering something that it's not just an image, but you can perform it somehow, and for me that was fine. And but then I thought, no, actually it's much better to what we already heard several times, no, also yesterday in the evening, that you shared the view and the same perspective. If I would talk to you, you don't hear me that much, but if we would walk together, yeah, we share the same experience somehow, and I think through that, and also because before I was I don't know if I was a walker, I'm not sure, but somehow, yeah, I had a kind of walking practice, but then I thought, okay, let's share this, and yeah, we can also change the program, no?
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. You like jazz?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it fits to the walking. It's just like a chapter.
Yeah. And no, and then I started with the night walks, and maybe learning from the timetables. I said I make an offer, and it needs like the month has weeks, it needs a repetition, and I choose the winter season from November to April, and I thought, okay, it has to happen every month, and I do it if someone's joining or not. So it was an offer, and it played with aesthetically with all the forms that offers have in the language, and but I did it anyhow somehow, and because I wanted to show also with it that it's kind of something existential for me, that it has to happen. I also do it for me, and in school I was always criticized in a sense that they said, yeah, but art is not therapy somehow. You shouldn't do it just for you. Why? But then I said, yeah, but it's an offer. You can join. Please come. No? Huh? It's group therapy then, in that sense. No? Yeah, we need that. And yeah, and then I started with it, and at the time maybe I was, from my childhood, I was kind of traumatized with the beauty of the mountains somehow, because we all often went to holidays in the mountains, and then my mother always said, they are so beautiful, these mountains. Look at these mountains and these stones, and you had to feel it, that it's so. No, you know, you couldn't say no. I hate. But for the first night walks, I chose some passings. It went through the mountains, and it always started at a train stop. With the last train, you got out of the train, and there was no way back somehow. No, you ended up at the end of the valley. Here is no train, but for example, in the canton of Glarus, Lintal, and then from there on, you had to walk the night through, and you did a passage. And in the morning you ended at another train station somehow. And I always figured out that it's more or less between 6 and 10 hours of walking somehow. And yeah, people joined, it was a success. But I also realized that with walking, it's not just those that are joining. I've realized that it's also those imagining what happens with us during the night somehow, and if we survive the walk, and they thought, okay, maybe I'm coming or not, and they were checking the weather, and somehow they were mentally really close to a participation, but they didn't make it, no. But maybe they had a more interesting image in their minds than if they would have really joined somehow. And for me, it was also always very important, this bringing a group of people together for a night and creating this social moment. And so this also then in the second year, I chose every month a host that was inviting for a dinner. And then when this person went to sleep, we took a walk around the house for the whole night, as long as the person was sleeping. And when the person woke up in the morning, we got a call and we went back for breakfast somehow. And somehow this was for me then an interpretation of also this social interest, and adding another person to the game somehow that we related on. But there were not so many participants, because I think people realize that it's really tough to walk in circles, to do a repetition, doing the same way, even if the temperature of the night, or maybe it starts raining or snowing or whatever, but doing the same way more than once is, I think that was, and also that you didn't know how long it lasts. And that was the second year, and it went on with that. Then one winter, it was in I helped people moving the house stuff from one place to another, and we did everything on hand cars. It was always in winter, and it was a bit, it was, at that time it took different forms then. So it was like in a city, 2 kilometers, and I don't know if it was so important. Like the video we saw before, it became a performance walking with the table and with the sofa through the city somehow. It had other elements then coming to it. It was also for me, it was an experiment, seeing what is possible with walking somehow. And it continued and it ended in the first somehow period of night walks. I think one I should also mention, if we deal with, if you sit here on a car parking lot, one season was also that we had a bus, and we started always in Zurich at the bus station, and every month in another direction as long as the gas tank was empty. And from there on we took a walk to the next gas station, and everyone got 2 canisters to fill, and with this filling we went back home somehow. So it was also a form of walk, but also taking like winter desires, no, to leave the place and to go out and do it in that way somehow. And it ended with a format called The Long Way Home that I did in New York during the residency in 2003, 2004, the winter season. And we always met at Grand Central Station, who liked to join, and then we figured out, we did like a mapping, who is living where in the city, and so we decided who is first home, and then the whole group brought this person home, and there we decided again who is next, until everyone was home, and I walked alone home at the end somehow. And I think that was like after that I thought it's hard to top it somehow. I don't know, I lost a bit the interest also in being creative every season with a new concept somehow. It's kind of, walking is also something very simple, and then being always, in a sense, offering the crowd a new funny concept. I got a bit tired of it, and from then on it was like until COVID. I had a lot of projects with walking, but not really night walks somehow. And then with COVID, there I made a change, and I also, how to say, it was like a shift also in my perception as an artist. My social surrounding was always the city somehow, and Zurich, and social rituals in a city, in an urban surrounding somehow, and from there on I got other interests more into landscape somehow. That's maybe also good why I'm here today, because I came up for the next season then in the year 2021 with the term of the distribution landscape, and I started the first season during Corona with monthly announcements of a walk in a so-called distribution landscape, and it got kind of a strong reaction from people also through the social restrictions during COVID, and finding a form of going out together at night, and like this secret community that shares the night together somehow and goes out. But for people that was important. For me it was more the orientation also in night in the landscape. And then I did a season in the Valley, so we walked down in 6 stops from Brick to the lake of Lac Le Mans, and there the landscape and also orientation in landscape, and maybe there I have to confess, it's in my room, but I don't have a smartphone somehow. I have just a classic old mobile phone. So I'm not there yet with maps, and maybe I guess that this is maybe also a point to how you make an orientation at night if you don't have always your map with you. And it worked in the former old projects, but I see that there is a change. But with the valley of the valley, it was interesting how you make your orientation also in relation to the different infrastructures that belong to a distribution landscape. So it's historically it's always a river somehow that produced energy, and then the train tracks came often close to the river, and then you have a highway close to it, and with that you're always balancing between these different infrastructures, natural or the river as something that has been shaped and formed, brought into a form, and this creates a form of orientation and flow somehow for the walk. And I think with this experience, I came to the project now, and you see that it's getting more and more boring somehow. So it's for the next 3 seasons. There was already 1 season happening. It's along the highway A1 from the east to the west somehow. So, and it's every night it's about 20-25 kilometers of walking, and it's going. Yeah, we're gonna do it in about 25. How you say etappen, like sections somehow, no? And yeah, you are invited to join next winter, and it's a very, it's kind of sensitive the way we relate to the highway somehow, because we always change the ground is always changing. There are hiking passes, it's agricultural streets, it's former highways or like main streets that are not really used anymore. Then there are bike streets, and during one night it's mostly crossing 3, 4, 5 times the highway to stay as close as possible to it somehow. And it's this it's really this relation with something that is very important for us, that I'm not a car driver, but that we use in our daily routines regularly, and to get in a sensual relation with it somehow. But I wouldn't also call it a research somehow. I never did documentation of it, because I think if you want to get these informations, you can join somehow, and it's not about delivering you even also a documentation video about it somehow. I think you would like to see it maybe, but there I'm not so funny, you know, in that sense. I'm saying you have to join somehow. It's also less work for me, no? Doing a documentation film, it's kind of, you invest days and weeks, and you have to think if you need music for it and whatever, somehow. Yeah, but just to see that I'm also kind of flexible, I'm taking over like advices from people talking to me, and so this summer, for the first time, there was always also a summer edition happening, and it leads. It's not the first season that I heard this. Why you're not doing it during summer? Why it's always during weekdays somehow? And I didn't mention that. It's important that it's during the week, because you're joining the night walk, and after it you go back to work somehow, and you take this. You take the experience of the night back into your daily routines somehow. Also, if it gets a bit dizzy or I don't know, then through the fact that none of you is a postcar driver, I think you could easily wie sagt man, verantworten, taking responsibility for that. And no, but the summer walk, now the first edition, leads along the Adriatic coast somehow. So, and it's a really nice offer that you can join next summer if you want to. It includes also the sleeping setting, and so we walk at night and we sleep during the day on the beach. So we rent a beach chair, and so you see it's also there. It needs a physical challenge somehow. Also it needs physicality somehow in our daily routines that are always nicely covered with soft seats and everything, and somehow I keep close to that this is necessary. And you can guess who joined the first summer edition. Not my mother. She's too old. No. Also not my wife, but two friends somehow. Two artist colleagues joined somehow. Yeah. But yeah, it can grow. It was good. Thank you for your attention. So.